طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So continuing along with our book تعظيم العلم, or sanctifying, respecting knowledge by Sheikh Salih al-Usaymi حفظه الله. We discussed in the first chapter about correcting the niyyah, or the intention, and making it pure for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah. In the second chapter we talked about the second principle in acquiring knowledge, and that was to make the heart pure for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to cleanse the heart of the ignorance and sinfulness and corruption basically, and make it pure so it's able to accept knowledge. The more pure the heart is, the more it is receptible it is to knowledge, right? And the corrupt heart, although they may have technical knowledge, but it's not true or blessed knowledge, because true knowledge and blessed knowledge comes to those of the pure of heart. And the more pure the heart is, the easier it is for it to attain the blessed knowledge and to teach the blessed knowledge. The third principle the Shaykh goes to, which we will take today inshallah, is the jama' al-himma, or jama'at himmat al-nafs, like making yourself encouraged or motivated or enthusiastic to seek it, to seek knowledge, right? And inshallah we'll read the chapter and go through it little by little. So I'll read the Arabic text and try to translate and then explain the best I can. He starts, al-ma'qid al-thalith jam'u himmati al-nafsi alayhi. The third principle is gathering or motivating yourself to achieve it, to achieve the knowledge, right? تجمع الهمة على مطلوب بتفقد ثلاثة أمور. The achieving your goal or your desire contains three main points. أولها الحرص على ما ينفع فمتى وفق العبد إلى ما ينفعه حرص عليه. Having a keenness to achieve that which is beneficial for you. So the first point, you have to have like some type of desire or keenness or enthusiasm to achieve something that's beneficial for you. And when you put your goal or your desire or your efforts into something that's beneficial for you, then you are keen to achieve it, right? Like usually you're not going to try to put efforts into something that's not going to benefit you, right? And the most important, or one of the most important things, the most beneficial things to you in this dunya is beneficial knowledge, the knowledge of the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, right? If you want to achieve wealth, people work very hard sometimes to get that dollar. They get up early in the morning, they work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, just to get the material gain, right? Some people, they want to be the best athletes, so they're going to put that extra effort because they want to achieve greatness. So anytime you want to achieve something, usually you want it to be something beneficial for you. So the Shaykh is saying that knowledge is one of the most beneficial things. So the first point you need is to have like a keenness for it, something that you know is going to benefit you. The second, he says, al-isti'anatu billahi fi tahsilihi, seeking assistance from Allah in achieving it. And this is to prevent us from depending upon the nafs or the self too much and letting the ego grow too big. Because sometimes people will become great at something and let it get to their heads, right? So it's always, as a Muslim, you seek the assistance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, and even if you achieve it, you're thankful to Him because it's by His grace that you have achieved it, right? Some people make certain statements and bragging and boasting about the achievements they've had, but in reality it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So always seek His assistance first, right? And even if you do achieve something great, attribute it to His mercy and benefit upon you, because He could take it away from you just as He had given it to you. How many rich people have gotten their wealth destroyed and they became poor? How many knowledgeable people got into accidents and lost their memories or lost their faculties, right? So it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives it to you, so be thankful for it and seek His assistance in trying to achieve it. The third point, عدم العجز عن بلوغ البغية منه, not giving up upon reaching your goal, right? So the first point, having keenness, like a desire, first picking something that's beneficial for you, which we said in this subject is knowledge, ilm. Second, seeking the assistance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Allah says that my assistance or my achieving something is not except with Allah's help. And thirdly, not giving up. You always strive to reach your goal. If the goal is so great and so dear, you'll do what you have to do to reach it, right? Like we said, some rich people work several jobs to save up money to invest it to become rich. They might sleep very little to achieve dunyawi goals. But the Muslim, the mu'min, our goal is priceless. It's Jannah, it's paradise, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't buy that. It's greater. Like we said, the last person to exit the hellfire from the Muslims, the lowest place in Jannah is like 10 times the earth. And just imagine how long it would take you to explore the state of Virginia alone. Maybe in a lifetime you couldn't explore every single part of Virginia in detail. And then imagine like America or the oceans or the whole earth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives to the last person to come out of hell 10 times the earth. Right? So Jannah is priceless. So it's worth putting that extra effort. وقد جمعت هذه الأمور الثلاثة في الحديث الذي رواه مسلم عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال احرص على ما ينفعك واستعن بالله ولا تعجز. And the Shaykh said these three affairs are taken from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that was reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said, be keen on that which benefits you, واستعن بالله, and seek Allah's assistance, ولا تعجز, don't give up, right? Don't let it overtake you. So first, the Prophet ﷺ was telling us, have hirs, have keenness, have like enthusiasm for something that's going to benefit you. And the scholars say, in the deen or the dunya. Like the logical person, he's going to try to seek, any person in general, he wants to get those things that will give him pleasure and save him from harm. Any logical human being has that, Muslim or non-Muslim. Like it's kind of a mental illness if they want something that harms them and doesn't give them pleasure. So the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, be keen on that thing which will benefit you. And the scholars say in the dunya and in the deen. But most importantly, it's in the deen. Because the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to the Muslim and non-Muslim. But the deen is given only to the Muslims. Inna deena inda Allahi al-Islam. The true religion unto Allah is Islam. And that's the most beneficial gift that any human being can attain. So gaining knowledge in that should be a priority for any Muslim. Like trying to learn about their deen, that's what will give you the most benefit in this world and the next life. Right? So the Prophet, he says, have this enthusiasm or keenness to achieve your goal. And this can be applied to anything. If you want to be, the top doctor, if you want to be a top engineer, if you want to be a top athlete, whatever it is, these three principles are the main ways to achieve it. Be keen and enthusiastic and have a high aspiration to achieve your goal in the first place. Secondly, seek the assistance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because no matter what you achieve, if it's not with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't have barakah in it. Right? That's why we see in the previous generations how they may not have had the resources that we have, but they achieved such greatness in the deen. Because they sought sincerely the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third, don't give up. It's always the one, that the shaitan's main goal is to get the Muslim, the mu'min, to despair, to give up on the deen. That's his main goal. If he can't get you to do that, he'll try to get you to give up on doing the extra good deeds or the wajibat. Anything he can try to get you to give up on, he's going to try. But the Muslim, he is keen not to give up. Like you always try it until you're in the grave. Like Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and Umar and some of the other Sahaba, they said, even if my right foot was in Jannah and my left foot hasn't entered, I will still not feel comfortable. Right? Until I'm completely into Jannah. Until your soul is gone from your body, then you can relax. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he was on his deathbed. And we know the narration that his son was telling him to say the Shahada. And he was saying, La, not now. I can't, not right now, no. And then his son kept saying no. And his son got scared. And he was saying, his father came too, and then he said, now I will say the Shahada. And the son asked him, what happened? Like, I was trying to tell you to say the shahada and you're saying no, no. He said, no, because the shaitan was coming to me and telling me that, you were on the wrong path. He came to him like trying to pretend like he's an angel or something like that and telling him that you were on the wrong path. You should die as a Christian or a Jew. And he was saying no, no, right? Even to the last moment, the shaitan is trying to come to this great imam and tempt him to fall upon a different faith. So a Muslim, he's keen always to try into the last second, striving for your goal until your soul is no longer alive in this world. That's how you achieve greatness. And never think that you are something. Always try to, like they say in the deen, look to those that are above you, and the dunya, look to those that are below you. So if you ever think that you have little, look at the people suffering around the world and see how much they have. And you'll feel so grateful for the amount that you really do have, right? In the deen, every time you think that you're great, you achieve so much, you're like very knowledgeable, or you're worshipping so much, then look into the great scholars or the previous ones before us and see what greatness they achieved. Then you'll feel like, no, I haven't achieved enough yet, so you'll strive more. But the main point is, don't give up. In your dunyawi goals or your deen goals, when you have made a decision, or you think you've made the right decision, you stick with it and try your best. There's so many stories from the previous generations that ilm, seeking knowledge, was very hard upon some of the scholars, the previous scholars, to the point that they almost gave up. One of them, some attribute to Ibn Hajar, rahimahullah, he was trying, but he just couldn't get it. Like, it won't stick in his mind. So he just one day thought, khalas, I'm just going to give up. And he started walking away. And as he was walking, he saw a stream eating away at a rock. And he said, subhanallah, this water can eat away at rock, and I'm not allowing the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to eat away at my heart. And he went back and he strived till he became one of the greatest imams in the history of Islam. Writing some of the most well-respected works. So don't give up. Even if it's hard, the shaitan's going to try to make it harder upon you so you can give up. But don't give up. Keep striving. لا تعجز. Right? ولا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا. The Prophet ﷺ said, don't look down upon any deed. No matter how little you think it is, don't think it's little. Keep doing it. Keep striving. Keep trying to move forward and progress. قال الجنيد رحمه الله تعالى: ما طلب أحد شيئا بجد وصدق إلا ناله فإن لم ينله كله نال بعضه. Junaid, one of the great pious predecessors, he said that nobody seeks something with jad, like keenness and striving to get that goal, with sidq, being truthful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except that he will achieve it. Either all of it or at least some of it. If you're truly sincere for the sake of Allah and you truly strive and you make the correct effort to achieve a goal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will give you some of it, at least, if not all of it. So don't, cut yourself short. وقال ابن القيم رحمه الله تعالى في كتابه الفوائد: إذا طلع نجم الهمة في ظلام الليل الباطلة وردفه قمر العزيمة أشرقت الأرض بنور ربها. He said that if the star of your desire, your himma, you're like, seeking something in the darkness of the night, is accompanied by the light of your azima from the moon. Your azima is like the thing that you are very keen on trying to achieve. أشرقت الأرض بنور ربها. The earth is made light or lit up with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's saying basically the azima or your keenness through the darkness will eventually shine through. Like if you're sincere and you really put the effort into it, the earth will become lit with knowledge. So, with a strong persistence and a desire to achieve a goal, you can change things. You can make dark into light. وإن مما يعلى الهمة ويسمو بالنفس اعتبار حال من سبق وتعرف همم القوم الماضين. And from the ways to increase our himmam, our keenness in seeking knowledge, and desire to seek knowledge is to read the story of those that preceded us. فأبو عبد الله أحمد بن حنبل رحمه الله كان وهو في صبا ربما أراد الخروج قبل الفجر إلى حلق الشيوخ فتأخذ أمه بثيابه وتقول رحمة به حتى يؤذن الناس أو يصبحوا. So on Ahmed ibn Hanbal, one of the four scholars of the four madhahib, it said that when he was a young child, he would like to go out to the halaqa, the meetings of knowledge, the circles of knowledge, in the masajid. And his mother, out of mercy for him, would grab him by his thobe and say, wait until the adhan of Fajr comes or the people wake up. Right? Because he's still a young kid. But look how keen, as a young kid, he wanted to go out before Fajr to seek knowledge, to sit in the halaqah of ilm. That means that circles of knowledge were being held even before Fajr. And he was trying to go there to listen to it as a young boy. وقرأ الخطيب البغدادي رحمه الله صحيح البخاري كله على إسماعيل الحري في 3 مجالس 2 منها في الليلتين من وقت صلاة المغرب إلى صلاة الفجر واليوم الثالث من ضحى النهار إلى صلاة المغرب ومن المغرب إلى طلوع الفجر. So basically this Imam al-Khatib al-Baghdadi read the whole of Bukhari in less than 3 days. Right? And this is not something that's impossible. You know, I personally witnessed, like, my roommate in the university when I was studying in Medina, in Jama'ah Islamiyah. He was from Nigeria, and he read the whole Quran in 2 rak'ahs, from Salat al-Isha into Salat al-Fajr. And it's just someone like that I know personally, and he's not like a famous scholar or anything. He's a pious brother, mashallah, and he's hafid, like strong memorization. But he's like, he's just someone that's with me in the school, in the Jama'ah. And he read the whole Quran in one night. And actually from Isha until Fajr, praying the Qiyam al-Layl in 2 rak'ahs. Because it was kind of competition. His good friend had achieved it, and he's like, I'm going to do this too. And it was goal, and he did it, mashallah. So these Imams would read works of books continuously, for days on end and complete them. And it's not just like a normal reading, like we skim through stuff. They would sit there and read it to the shaykh, to the scholar, with tasheeh, and also sometimes ta'liq. The shaykh would correct any mistake in the recitation, and he would also sometimes explain the book as well. So he finished al-Bukhari in 3 days. Imam al-Bukhari nafsuhu, rahimahullah, he was known to, as a young boy, stay the nights reciting and memorizing, and sometimes he would sleep, and as soon as he thought of a hadith, he'd wake up, light his light, and write the hadith down. Throughout the whole night, he might not sleep too much, he keeps writing the hadith. He's the one that prayed 2 rak'ahs for every single hadith he put in Sahih Bukhari. So these people had high himam, himam aliyah. And there's whole books about it, like you can read, for example, I think it's called Islah al-Ummah fi Ulu al-Himma, by, I have to recall it, but one of the scholars from Egypt, he wrote, I think, a 10-volume work about reviving the Ummah, the nations, the Muslim society, with Ulu al-Himma, with a high, Al-Maqdisi? No, it's a modern scholar, from our lifetime. I think they have it in the Mektaba upstairs. Inshallah, I'll get the name and tell it to you, but I read a lot of it. Sometimes, just to motivate yourself when you read the stories of the scholars before us, it gives you that motivation. And you read the stories, it's just amazing, subhanAllah, how they spent their lives seeking knowledge and what they went through to achieve it. And then he says, وكان أبو محمد ابن تبان أول ابتدائه يدرس الليل كله فكانت أمه تحرمه وتنهاه عن القراءة بالليل فكان يأخذ المصباح ويجعله تحت الجفنة شيئا من الآنية العظيمة ويتظاهر بالنوم فإذا رقدت أخرج المصباح وأقبل على الدرس. So he's saying that this Sheikh Abu Muhammad ibn Tibban, when he was a young boy, his mother used to forbid him from reading at night because he was so keen on trying to seek knowledge. He would read the whole night and not sleep much at all, if any. So his mother forbid him from doing that. So he would sneak the lamp under his bed until he was sure she fell asleep. then he would take it out and light it so he can read and study and get knowledge. Nowadays, subhanAllah, the kids, they'll pretend to be asleep to try to sneak in and do things that may be haram or bad stuff, astaghfirullah. But look at this young boy. He was so keen to seek knowledge. His mom was merciful, like she feared for him, he's not sleeping enough, but he was trying to sneak just to get knowledge. In the famous story of Imam al-Nawawi, when he was a young boy, the kids wanted to come play with them and try to force him to play with them, and he would actually cry because he wanted to memorize the Quran. And he was only like 7 years old or less than that. He would cry because he wanted to seek knowledge as opposed to playing in the playground. So this is ulu al-himma, and look what Allah gave to them in barakah. فكان رجلا رجله على الثرى ثابتة وهامة همته فوق الثرايا سابقة ولا تكن الشاب البدن أشيب الهمة فإن همة الصادقة لا تشيب. So he kind of quoted different Arab sayings or examples. He's saying that the person's feet might be planted upon the ground, but their aspirations are in the stars, because their aspirations are so strong and so high, they're up in the stars. And he's saying that the true person that's keen on seeking it, he doesn't get old in that sense. So the body may age, the beard may gray, but the himma doesn't get old. It grows with years. كان أبو الوفاء بن عقيل رحمه الله تعالى أحد أذكياء العالم من فقهاء الحنابلة ينشد وهو في 80 ما شاب عزمي ولا حزمي ولا خلقي ولا ولائي ولا ديني ولا كرمي وإنما اعتاد شعري غير صبغته والشيب في الشعر غير شيب في الهمم. So he said that my keenness or my desire and my sincerousness in seeking knowledge, and my character, and my deen, my religion, and my generosity didn't get old. And my beard and my hair may have aged and gotten old, but my himmam did not. My desire to seek knowledge did not. So even though this was Ibn Aqil, he was 80 years old when he said this poem. And he was saying that the meaning of which, even though he's 80 years old and going to the grave, maybe he might be decrepit his body wise, but his character and his deen and his desire to seek knowledge did not age. He still has that same desire as he was as a young person. And the more the person builds himself to get that desire, the easier it becomes, right? So you might start with reading a couple of pages and you find it hard, so you have to stop. And then some people, they continue. If you're continuous with something, it'll become easier for you. For example, if you make a time every single day before you sleep, for example, or as soon as you wake up, start with 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever you can, but be consistent about it. Do it every day. You'll see how much you'll achieve within a month or a year, right? But ideally, you want to increase that. Like some of those who I know, when they were studying in the Jama', they would read approximately 12 hours a day, studying, sitting with the shuyukh, reading books, reviewing what they've learned. The himma, like when you realize that your goal is Jannah and you're trying to get to paradise and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's like you realize how limited your life is and how much limited time is. So you want to use that time in its best manner before it's too late. Like we say that you're just a bunch of days, and every time a day goes, so there's a part of you. Every second that passes is gone, it can never come back. So if you're using it, I don't know how much time we have now. The adhan is right now? Yeah, so just a quick reminder that, we are in these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, which are the best 10 days of the year according to the Prophet ﷺ. So if somebody asks you, when is it better to give charity or do salat or do dhikr, in Ramadan or in Dhul Hijjah, what would you say? Yeah. So the best days of the year, the Prophet ﷺ said that there is no days better than doing good deeds than these days here. So dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remembering Allah, giving charity, reading the Quran, seeking knowledge. These 10 days, use your, the Prophet ﷺ used to make a strong effort in doing extra worship, and the Sahaba as well. So take advantage of this time in particular. Just a quick reminder for myself and you guys, inshallah, to use this time wisely. Increase in your dhikr. Next week we won't have the class, so you can, inshallah, fast on day of Arafat, which is, I think, Monday, and then day of Eid will be right afterwards. Do a lot of extra, like takbirat, tahleel, tahmeed, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar, dhikrullahi akbar. The greatness of the dhikr, of remembrance of Allah, it's a whole lecture in and of itself, but quickly, these are small actions that anybody can do. The Prophet ﷺ was approached by one of the Sahabas asking him that the Sharia has become a lot upon me. Can you tell me something that's easy to do, that can help me? He said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Let your tongue be continuously moist with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the scholars, they say that the body may tire, like your arms, walking, these type of things get tired easily. But the mind and the tongue are usually always active. They don't really get tired. People can talk your head off. The thoughts always running to your head. So occupy it with something that's going to benefit you in this dunya and the akhirah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.